Now we're going to actually install the PHP and MySQL, of course, web server on the Windows platform. If you're working externally on a remote server, on a professional hosting service, for example, or you have a professional web server, it doesn't matter if it's Linux or what have you. You can actually work and develop locally on a Windows machine. And I'll show you how to do that. In order to save time, I have already downloaded the Windows software packages that I need from wampserver.com, W-A-M-P server.com. This is the package I will be using throughout this tutorial. If you have not already done so, I recommend that you download the package now and then return to this movie or the Mac install movie to learn how to install your particular platform's package. Now the IIS install can get a little bit tricky. You can download PHP from php.net. You can download MySQL, the latest version, from mysql.com. And you can also get the Apache server from apache.org or just use IIS. Those installs can be pretty straightforward, but then some configuration settings need to be taken care of, so you have to really watch out there. And I just would recommend you using WAMP server. Now I have it here in the directory structure that you see for the website. What we're going to do is double click on the 5.1.43 version that we have here from the website. Be sure to also download the package for developing in PHP 4. If you're developing in PHP 5 only, then you don't have to actually install the PHP 4 add-on. You can use PHP 5, which is the default language that comes with the overall WAMP package. And I also have the installers here. This is just from php.net. This is going to be what you're going to actually download if you just want to install PHP into IIS. If you want to install the software packages on your own, you'll need to watch the Software You Need video very closely and use the links I provide for php.net, mysql.com, and apache.org. But again, if you're new to PHP, I strongly recommend that you use the WAMP installer package, because installing all of these packages separately can be very difficult. This is the easiest way. It's using WAMP server. It puts everything together for you, as you're going to see. Okay, the first thing we do is pick and select the agreement that we have here. You see we have Apache 1.3.33. This is actually a very mission-critical web server. What I mean by mission-critical is that the web server has very few bugs or problems, and big companies actually rely on this web server to stay online for a very long time without rebooting or encountering any problems. I use 1.3.33, and that's local. And I also use 2.0. You can have them both installed on the same machine. So it doesn't matter if you install it through this WAMP server. Everything's going to be separate. So you can still install other Apache servers locally. You can even install other MySQL instances local. It just uses a different directory structure, which I'm going to show you. And of course, PHP 5.03, the add-on module is going to allow you to have the 4.3 version and above, 4.3.1 or above. And so that means you can have both versions and switch really easily. I'll show you how to do that. We'll also set up PHP MyAdmin, and we'll do that later. With this overall package, you just want to keep up to date so you can download the additional package when it becomes available, and this is going to update different versions of the software. So you can see that something that's going to save you a lot of time and effort, and it's really easy. You're going to really like this. You can use the default folder here if you like. I'm going to use something on my hard disk in my program files folder. I create a separate one here. I use this program underscore files folder with that underscore character in between without a space. This is so I don't have to install this into my regular program files folder. The program files folder gets filled with all your other applications that you install, and it really is just to make things easier to find. And then you can just pick WAMP as you see here. You need about 60 megabytes. It could increase, of course. And it already exists. It's empty, but we will use that. We'll just use the default here for the shortcuts. And we will automatically launch on startup. Not a big deal. This is definitely something you want to work with. These are all going to be services that are installed automatically on your machine, and you can manage them with ease with WAMP. It'll take a little bit of time to actually get everything to install correctly, And it's really great to do this. You're going to like it. Now we pick the www folder, and incidentally, this is where your files can go. This is the same program_files folder that we just previously selected. This www folder, this was created within the WAMP folder we just created. If you don't want to set up an external directory structure, I recommend the external directory structure, but you can just put them in there. But chances are you're going to want to put something else in the default or just leave it alone. Maybe some sort of local admin screens for yourself. Now we're going to find the default browser. We can go to our program files folder and find the Mozilla Firefox. And then we can select that with the exe. That'll be our default browser, but as you wish. You can select the Explorer.exe here as your default browser. This is Internet Explorer, but you can select any browser you normally use. You just need to navigate to the Program Files folder of that application and select the executable .exe file. In this case, I'm using Firefox because I use Firefox as my default browser. Now you can install the add-on, the 4.3.1 add-on. It works very similarly. It knows where to place that there. It knows how to work with that. It's smart enough to know that. It's going to be another 17.5 megabytes. The other screen, we can actually just turn that off, the launch WAMP now, and we'll hit finish. Now this one already popped up in the meantime, and we can launch WAMP now. You'll see some things in your shortcut. You can have an uninstall. You might have to go to the directory where you installed it in order to uninstall it. There's a file there called uninstall. It may become necessary to uninstall the WAMP server package if you should happen to come across any undiagnosable bugs or errors. This is really typical of any software application, more so in the open source community because of the frequent updates to the software. Now what you'll have is below here, you're going to see this little odometer down here, and it might change. There's different status signs that you can take a peek at. And from there, you're going to have to change your configuration file. As you can see here, you also have the PHP ini file and your WAMP ini file. You can use PHP myadmin. You can also switch to PHP 4 or vice versa. You can adjust your Apache servers as you see fit. You can also see MySQL, and you can see that you can install additional services from there and start and restart or stop all the services. You may need to restart all the services if you want to. So this is how you can install it. It's very, very nice to do this. We'll look at how to set up the configuration file as well. And we'll also look more into working with MySQL and the PHP myadmin and other features of this. So it's right there in your system tray, and it's open source. All of this is open source and really robust, and I encourage you to actually use this. So you should now have the information that you need to install the WAMP package for developing with PHP on the Windows platform. In the next movie, I'll be covering the installation of the Mac platform package. If you're a Windows user, please skip ahead to the site configuration movie.